Hey, and welcome back to Saturday Strolling. We are going to start on this shelf right here. Normally we start on the bench. You know what? We're going to start here because I wanted to give you a quick update on the Curl Smith orchids, the 5 that we recently repotted. So this is the Pure Love. It is still doing rather well. I don't see any roots down, but I do see some new roots coming off of the new growth. So that is awesome. I'm going to move them out of the way as we look at them. And then this one here is not one of the Curl Smiths. This is one of my birthday orchids. But look how well that new growth is growing as this one. And then the one that was hidden underneath the leaf is finally tall enough that I put that leaf behind there. So it should be taking itself on down the road as well. And then this one here is our What About Love with, you can see nice new root coming in there on that growth. And I thought we had a second growth. Oh, we do. So there's the newest growth that was just starting when I put it in here at the beginning of the month. And then this one here is our Volcano Prince that went into a big pot. You can see that new growth there, and I believe this is the one that has the 2 pieces in it. And then let's see anything going on here. No new growth on this side that I can see quite yet, but this one here was its latest growth. And then I'm going to show you something here in a minute, but let's just look at the other 2 here. Let me move this out of the way. Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. It is a lovely day here in Colorado. I do have my windows closed just so I don't have all the background noise, but this one is the Jupiter Drops, and this growth is finishing. And then we have this beautiful new growth here, and I thought, oh, and then this new growth is finishing. So in theory, we should have 2 more new growths here, so this one should have 3 directions of growth coming in it. But we'll just have to wait and see. And then the last one from that order is the Mark's Valentine. So that sheath is almost ready to come off, but I did. Okay, there it is. Do you see the root peeking in right there? If I can get it to focus. There it is. Maybe if we turn it around, we can see it a little bit better from this angle. No, we can't. It's all right though. Trust me when I tell you there is a root in there. Can you see the little green tip? There it is. Right, let's see, right by my finger there. So nice. So they're all doing really well. They were all watered last night and loving life right now under the shelf. But as I was watering, pulled out my little pink Perfusion, was looking her over. Now this is the variegated Oncidium that I got from Yoshi back in April of last year, 2023. And look what we have, guys. Let me put her down. Back in her pot, but look, we have a lovely spike coming. I'm so excited to see those little blooms. Pink Perfusion, I'm going to assume they're pink. I didn't go online and check out the blooms or anything. I'm kind of excited to see them for myself, and of course, if you grow Oncidiums, you will know that spike is going to take quite the time in showing her loveliness to us. So we'll be on that watch for a few weeks, if not a few months, depending. She doesn't have a lot of the variegation. Some of it is kind of on the tips. You can't really see it very well. Like, oh, sorry, this one here, just a little variegation here. I'm hoping that as it matures, and there's a little white striping there, I'm hoping as it matures, maybe it'll show more of the variegation, and I may have it in too bright of light for that variegation to come out. So for those of you who do grow variegated Oncidium, let me know if I need to pull it back from the light or if it's just going to take time to mature. Excuse me. And then my Falcata here. When I tell you guys there's lots going on this shelf, and I should have been more prepared just taking everything off the shelf, but here we are. This one, oh my goodness, has, let's see. So this fan, let me move out of the way. So this fan is growing a new leaf. This fan is growing a new leaf. And then this fan has a new leaf coming on it. Of course, a new leaf here. And if we turn it around, we have this fan finishing off a leaf. We've got a new fan there, a new fan here. This fan is working on there. The main fan that she came with has a new leaf. So she is just starting to get that bushiness about her. I'm so excited. Now when she really gets into her own, I have no idea where I'm going to put her. I have had some thoughts, and I've been thinking about, you know, as these girls get bigger, and where am I going to put everybody. So I am thinking ahead. I am planting anyway. Jane Austen's lovely roots coming on through there. And let me see if we can, let me grab the Schilleriana real quick. Hold on. Move my little Monachica here that is also doing rather well. But let me just grab this lady here. Let me go show you. Let me show you. Oh, and I've been running the humidifier because with the windows open, it gets a little dry in here. And I have a couple of house plants that need a little more humidity than they're getting with the windows open. But that is a new growth here. We have that new growth there. And then we have, where is it? There's another one that is, oh, it's way over here on this side. Look at that. That one just kind of popped up. I saw it, but I wasn't paying that much attention to it. But look at that. I love the redness of these leaves on the back. Look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait for her to get into her own. And then one day, woo, almost fell. That would not have been cute. One day we'll get to see some blooms. And then I'm waiting. I can't wait for her to get more leaves so I can get rid of some of these older leaves that she has on her. But let me get the Monachica back up here and we'll just take a quick look at it. Somebody broke the root tip off of that one there. But this, look how long that growth is. So I'm thinking maybe another year or two and then we'll get to see her blooms. I did buy her rather young, and she's technically a 2.0. I had purchased one in, I believe it was 2020. Let's see, when did I get this one? No, this one was in 2020, maybe, I think it was the same year, but in any event, this is the second one. The first one I got came in very poor shape, very, very poor shape. And Potnera Dick Smith here. Let's see, lovely new roots coming off of that new growth. And then she also has a new growth coming right here. And then I'm watching right here, let me zoom in, because that looks like another growth coming. So it looks like she's going to start two directions of growth now. I've had this one since, I believe, July of 21. Bought it from Jewel Orchids when I got the Jane Austen, I believe, or maybe right after the Jane Austen. And then this is the Leopoldii seedling from Louisiana Orchids that I got about a year ago. Grew this and is finally putting up a second shoot, as well as the Vandopsis gigantea here. Again, this one is also from Louisiana Connections, purchased back in May of last year. Look at those beautiful roots. Let's see if I can just look at that. Look at those juicy roots. I'm thinking of kind of freshening up their media. I don't know that they're ready for a bigger spot or not, but we'll have to see. And then this shelf, I know I said it in a couple of strolling videos, I needed to take everything off the shelf so I could really show you guys. So I will be doing that because they do need to be watered, so I have to take them off the shelf anyway. And then I've also been asked by several of you how I water. So maybe because all of these are in some kind of a different media where I can kind of show you how I water each type of pot with that media in it, aside from leca. But leca's kind of self-explanatory, so maybe we'll do that. But I do want to show you guys this exciting thing. Look what I have. Now this is I believe this is the Potnera Dick Smith crossed with Horse Maxima. Let me just double check here. Yes. So this is my Dick Smith crossed with Horse Maxima. That, as you can see, is about 2 finger widths away from the top here. I told you guys I've been thinking. So I'm going to move it after I see if it blooms or not. She's going to live over here and she'll have all this space, because what I did was I did purchase some of these Let me see if I can stand behind so it's not a glare on you. The little 4 light things off of Amazon just to kind of see how they do. But what I'm loving is look at all the light that it's providing those ladies over there. They are no longer in bright shade. They're in indirect bright light. And I'm loving the way they look. Oh my goodness. Just loving the way that they look. And I moved my Sansevieria into that room. The windows are kind of connected corner. Put that over there. Have the rubber tree plant over here now instead of under the window. And I could actually put a plant underneath the plant stand now that it's getting that additional light. Because even with those grow lights, it was kind of dull in that little corner. So I've got places to put things. And you know what? While we're right here, let's just look at the Phalaenopsis table. So this is I think this is one of our this is the September ICPU. But it did grow this leaf. She does have roots. I'm waiting on her to grow some more vegetation. And then this is my Chia E. Yinlin growing this new leaf. I need to strap it kind of back because it is kind of coming out. And then this is probably the last week that we'll see this one. This is another ICPU. This is one of our November ones, just because I want her to focus on new leaf growth. Now she does have roots in the pot, so she's not suffering for the roots, but I did want to enjoy the blooms just for a little bit. And I do believe that this is the same as my No ID that I have on the top shelf of the main orchid shelf that I call Sunshine, because it looks very much the same. This is my Moonlight, the all white blooms, really petite little blooms. Look at that, nice new roots coming in. Beautiful, just beautiful. I don't see any new leaf growth. She did finish this leaf after she bloomed. Maybe she's just taking a little break from growing that leaf, but there's new root tips, so I do expect to see a new leaf coming. This is Black Dot working on a new leaf. No ID ICPU from September. Just she did bloom for us. We enjoyed her for a little bit, cut her blooms so she could concentrate. Now this one here is the Sogo Yakidon Odom's Snowfall. At least that's what it was sold as. It is a white one. She is in dry moss. Okay, so she is in moss and bark in this pot. Now this pot I got from Lowe's, but lots and lots of root tips. She is growing this leaf, or was growing this leaf, because dun 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 dun, we do have a spike coming on that one. I'm gonna let her spike out, enjoy it for maybe a week, and then cut it back. Again, just more vegetative growth. I mean, you can see how wanky she looks. Like she's unique. Let's put it that way. She is unique. And for someone who has a balance thing, like I like it to kind of be evened out, she really challenges that for me, and that is why she normally sat on the bottom shelf down here, kind of out of sight, out of mind. I'll water you when I need to water you, just because the way those leaves look. I know I shouldn't be that way, but here we are. This is the Phalaenopsis Icin Venus that I got from Brookside Orchids back in July of 22. And she was in a different clay pot until last month, April of 24. I repotted her. She had these roots coming down and coming in, and this leaf was starting. She used to also sit down here. I have since moved her up here just to make room for other things down in the bottom here. And then I love this variegated African violet. I know it's not an orchid, but I love this thing. And the reason I was asking about the variegation on the Pink Profusion is because when I used to have this in a little brighter light than what she's in now, almost all of her leaves were just green. Now when they first come in, they are a little green, but you can see she does have some with variegation. But once I moved her over here where she was in bright indirect light, a lot of that variegation came back. So leave it in the comments if I need to take Miss Pink Profusion from that brighter light back there. What else do we have? I don't have my store right now, so we're just going to do a quick swing through of the summer bloomers. I was also thinking of just doing a quick update on just all of my summer blooming phals. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. And then Miss Morgan up here, I don't know if you can see it or not, but she's still doing fine. I think she's getting a little sun stressed, a little anthracene, and looking on that new leaf. I have to get up there later and check that out. But look at Queen Bear. Bum, bum. Look at her blooms. See if I can step back so we can see them. Look at those. Aren't those gorgeous? Guys, this is going to be once they all open, this is going to be the best show since I've had her. She's usually put out 3, maybe 4, but she's got that main spike that when I counted, I think had like 11 or 12 blooms, and then she's got a branch with about, a branch with about 4 to 8 blooms coming on it, so she's going to be spectacular. And then, of course, my gold staff is blooming off of both sides. I am loving it. And then the oncidium that we took apart, let me move Kingianum out of the way. You know, since we're taking Kingianum out of the way, let's just take a look real quick. Oh my goodness, it's a heavy pot and a heavy orchid. But it's mainly the pot because it's a ceramic pot, and then I have rocks at the bottom. But look at these new growths. Look at this. These weren't even opened up 2 weeks ago, and already, look at it. That one, and then this new one here. So what I'm going to try to do with this one is, let's just kind of loop it here. And this is kind of what I do to try to help control the growth, so that this way we can see it, and then it'll just kind of fill in this instead of it being, hold on, let's see, can we do it without, all off to the side. But with this one, I don't mind as much because it is kind of growing this way. If it were growing back, like behind it, then that's when I would do that. But for now, let me move it out of the way. And I have cleaned up this area down here. I don't know how many of you ever paid attention to my junk pile that I had down there. I had all kinds of miscellaneous pots and pans and weights and those bands, those exercise bands that I do for my physical therapy. And I just got a whim, and I was like, let me get this all cleaned up. Oh, it was when I switched the 2 shelves to make room for the oncidiums. I was like, let me just clean this up. And so now I have my moss, and I have some bark. So all that is sitting there. I have my rock. So it's kind of stuff that I use pretty much every day, or often enough that it needed to be out here and not in the garage. But let's look at this lady. She's not doing well, guys. She's not doing well at all. She's starting to get yellow. Some of her leaves are drying off. So I will need to get in there and see. It may be I'm just not keeping it wet enough. I don't want to keep it soaked. Again, that same fear I had before. I might be spiting my face. What is it? Cutting off my nose to spite my face. So I'll be having to look at her soon as this is over. And then this one, let me just check. Yep, so it's still nice and damp. And then I took the Montana Big Sky that used to sit over by the bench, put it on a bigger mount to give it more space. So I'm hoping now that those 2 new growths that were in it, I don't know how well you can see it, but she has 2 new growths in there along with this one, but 2 small ones. Just, they're taking their time. I'm hoping that with maybe more space, those roots can really expand out, kind of really enjoy themselves. And then next Saturday, we should be seeing the Orange Kiss in bloom. If you can see, those buds are swelling on out. And I like that it didn't get like super, super long. Like it's long enough, and I do have it kind of resting in between the leaves of this dendrobium, excuse me. So I didn't have to stake it. You know, use what you have in your surroundings, right? And then the Hawaiian Treat, lots of new growths coming out, still working on root growth, so loving that. Oh, and let me show you what else I did. So I took the Silogeny down to water her, and I was going to put her back in the corner where that oncidium is hanging now, and I didn't want to keep putting her in the corner because, as you can see, this leaf right here, it did get broken the first time I put it in there, and it's quite the finagle to get it in there. And then she took up a lot of the lighting for over there. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not putting baby in the corner because nobody puts baby in the corner. If you know, you know. And so what I did is I just kind of had my daughter help me figure out how far out to put that hook so she wasn't like in the middle of the living room, but kind of blended in. So now this is where she sits. Now during Christmas, when the tree is right here, baby might have to go back in the corner, or baby may have to go in the extra bedroom. But for now, baby is center stage, okay? Nobody puts baby in the corner. Look at her new growth, though. That's kind of where we were going with this. So I do have her kind of hanging this way right now so that the new growth is going in the same direction that it was going when it was hanging over there. And I did move the Gigantea from there over here just to kind of fill in that space. And then we do have the Phalaenopsis. And by moving Big Girl here, it gave this area a little more light. So I'm hoping, and I had to talk with Sherry Baby. I was like, you know, you can't use the excuse you're not getting enough light now to bloom. She's got 3 new growths that she's working on. 1 is almost mature, so we should get a nice, lovely bloom off of those soon. And then, of course, this no ID here. Oh my, I just love the speckling. Do you remember in high school when you, in art, and you had to do the, excuse me, the drawing, and you had to fill it in with the dots? That's what this reminds me of. Like, I think it's called dot art or something, but that's what that reminds me of. Just love that. And my sweet memory is still working on that leaf. And I think I can put a little bit of water in here now because the outside is nice and dry. She still has a little weight to her, so I know the middle is still wet, so I will wait probably another day and then water her. The maxillaria over here is still doing rather well, and those new growths are coming right on along and with speed. What is going on over here? Oh, so this one, I did post it on the community tab when it finally opened up, but this is the Richard Ace Ataki May, I think is what that is. Hold on, let me get it into focus. May, says orangey brown. I see the brown, but I don't really see the orangey. I don't know, maybe y'all tell me, do you see any orange? I guess right here you could call that orange, but isn't she just, look at that. So this was an ICPU orchid that we lost, and then the last time I ordered some moss from Ken, I went ahead and purchased this one. I saw it was available on the website, and I wanted to see what it looked like, and it did not disappoint. I love it. And now I've got happy sap all over my fingers, so let me go wash my hands. I'll be okay, right sorry about that. I know that shouldn't have bothered me, but I mean, it was like all over the top of my fingers, and then anything else I would have touched would have stuck. So the snowflake, these 4 spikes are still nice and pretty, but this one, as you can see, is going over, so we'll cut that one. The Taganaga, look how long, look at this. I am amazed. So what I'll do is, again, to kind of help control, she is strapped at the bottom, to kind of help control the leaves from going too crazy, is I'll just kind of wrap it around this one here. And as you can see, she's kind of strapped to this branch here, and this is really loose, so it can still expand and do what it needs to do. But again, I may have to move it because it's not got a lot of room. Excuse me, what happened to my voice? A lot of room from the leaf to up there. And is that mealybugs? All right, I guess I'm gonna take her down so that I know I need to wipe her down as soon as we are finished here. So I am going to just set her right here. So didn't touch that, so that was a good thing. So this is another one of my Curl Smiths. This is the Paphiopedilum niveum. And I'll do a quick update on these guys since I've had them for a year, kind of see where they were as to where they are now. And then look at the spectacular root growth on my Catatante Why Not. Look at that. OMG. Look at the explosion O roots. And, oh, she does have, okay. So we have, so that new growth right there is coming right on along. And then this one here looks like it is starting to swell. And then I moved the back end of my Purpurata Carina over here. And then the oncidiums, I did put them up here. Look at this one. This is the silver wings crossed with Nydia, Latoria type Dendrobium. Oh, and I figured out what happened with these. Why? Well, this one, I thought I could save it, but no. So this whole cane was just full of mealies. So that's what happened to all of the, what word am I looking for? Keikis that were over here. So I will be taking this out. I'll probably take these two keikis out and root them separately, and then once they establish, so we're down to 2. So once again, if you wanted those, I will take the first 2 names that I got that wanted these, and then anyone who still wants a keiki, I'll give you one of the Dendrobium hibiki, or if the Dendrobium green that one, the Barina, let's see how you say it, Baruna green crossed with Crotinum. Y'all know I can't pronounce these names. Produces more keikis. I can just send them out as they produce, if that makes any sense, okay? So I do apologize that I screwed that up, because there were quite a few on there and the mealies just took them down, but these 2 seem to be doing fine. We'll take them out, look at them really well, and see what we got there. But as you can see on hibiki, we do have quite the keikis on it, so I could replace this one with the hibiki if that's something that you would be interested in. And then I think the twinkle spike is finally starting to dry off because it is getting yellow. So I'll probably go ahead and cut that one. And then anything, oh, so my daughter, she doesn't buy me an orchid every year, okay, for Mother's Day, but occasionally she does. Well, the last time she bought me an orchid, she bought me this same orchid. It was just a larger version of this same orchid. And when she brought it to me, she said, I think you already have this one. And I started laughing. I said, well, actually I do, because you already gave me this orchid 2 years ago. I have this orchid. And for those of you, this is the Lark Song, I believe. It looks very much like the Lark Song. It's a little more pink than the one that I have, but isn't she cute? I still love her. And right now she is in her media she came in, and if you look right here, so if you got one of these, you probably have this in yours as well. Do you see that part right here? Yeah, that's the little peat moss plug that they're all in. I'm just glad mine's sitting up there, so when that dries, that's when she gets water. If that still has moisture in it, I don't even bother watering. And then I noticed something else on my spectabulus here, or spectabile. Look there. We have another growth coming from down there. Remember a few weeks ago I told y'all I was expecting, or I was looking for a growth from right there? Well, there it is. And then look how much that one's grown in 2 weeks. I am so excited to see these little alien blooms. I know I probably still have about 2 or 3 more growths. I'm not going to say years, I'm going to say growths as it's getting mature in strengths, because look at the roots of this thing. Look at this. Look at, yes, I need to water it, but look at the roots. Oh my goodness. It's about to eat the pot, but you know what? I'm going to leave it in there until she has no more room to grow. I'm not going to disrupt anything. And look how fat. Look at this. Look how fat this cane is getting. Look at that. I'm going to have to loosen the strap a little bit because I thought it had room and it's filled it up. So I'm amazed. I'm so amazed at that. I love it. And then this is the cactus, or really it's a succulent. It's not really a cactus, I don't think. But here is where it sits. So I am thinking of either taking this one or that one over there that's under that plant stand to my job to make some room, because they do take up a lot of space. I like them, but I can't really display them properly, and they're not going to be able to really grow well the way it is. Because if you look at this one's all crunched up, and you know, it's not fair to her. So I'm thinking of taking them to my job. But look who else is open. We have the beautiful Dusty Belle and her scent. So some people say it's like a sweet perfume. It reminds me of fabric softener. Like Downy or Snuggle, like liquid fabric softener. Oh, and she smells delish, just delish. And then this is the front end of the Carina. Purple Rhodocarina. Look at that. It is coming right on along, and then Miss Zelda is finally coming up with a beautiful leaf. So she will be getting her freshened up. Oh, you know what? I lied. I freshened her up. Okay. See, I've been doing a lot of these, guys, as I water. I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and repot you while I have the chance. Thus, that is why those come in handy. I don't have to run in and out of the garage. So she has had her repot upgrade, and I just reused the media that she was already in because it was still really good, and I just added some moss in there. And I did that because in the event that my daughter does want this back, she has that moss as a backup for when she forgets to water. At least the water will last a little bit longer. And then let me move Kingianum out of the way so we can look at the Nobly here. This is it has a name. Well, I don't know if it's the real name, but it's the name it came with. It's called the Fancy Angel Lychee. Look at the growth. Look at that. And look, I told you guys we had some roots coming. I'm so stoked about that. And I'm hoping that perhaps we get some more new canes. It looks like, no, we have another leaf coming. That's not the terminal. But I would like to see her bloom again. Her blooms are just absolutely stunning. Oh, and the spike on this No ID Vanda, well, I ended up cutting it because, is that it? Or is it on this side? I think it's on, where is it? It's the most recent. Let's see. Okay, so it's this one. Because, silly me, I opened the window and I wasn't really paying attention because this one was sitting over there. So out of habit, I opened up this side and the bud was facing towards the window because I was moving things around. I just had it sitting up there, and she was kind of sitting in this spot here, and the wind was blowing, and it was a cool breeze. And by cool, it was like 55 outside, so it was a cool breeze blowing on the bud. Needless to say, the bud did not make it. Okay, that's where I'm going with that. The bud did not make it. So we'll just wait. She'll bloom again. That will be the third time that she's bloomed for me, so I'm sure she'll bloom again. But look at the cucullata. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can get in here. Let me move my hands. Let's switch hands. Look at that. Look at the growth of that cucullata. Wow. And then look at all the roots we've got coming. There's so many roots in there. I'm so stoked about that. And then my Patra, the blue orchid, is growing a new leaf again. And then, you know, Miss Pearl. I know you were busy having babies last year. You had your nice baby. That's a nice little teenager now, out working, making its own money, helping you out. Can me and my friends see what you look like you bloom? Could you do that for us, please? Please. Then this Maxillera. So we've got this new growth here, and then we've got a new growth right there, and then this one is maturing. And this one here, these two right here are the two oldest bulbs. These are the ones that came with it when Justin from Justin's Orchids sent it to me. I want to say in 22, no, in 23. Oh, so I've had this literally a year. So yeah, last month in April, I did just kind of freshen up the media, and all of the roots are now inside, in the middle instead of all on the outside. So I'm just waiting, and then look at the roses. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I am waiting for, well, you can't see it, but I have a rose bush kind of right here. It's a climber that's on like a little small trellis. I haven't gotten the proper trellis. Oh, it has got so many buds on it, as does the one by the back door. So once those are in full bloom, I'm definitely going to show you guys that. Mr. Marasaki here is just producing leaves. And then what else do we have going on over here? I need to repot. I say this every time we do one of these. I need to get into this because she's busting at the seams, guys. She is busting at the seams. So, you know what? Since we're talking about it, I'm going to set her right here, and then I'll be like, why are you in the middle of the floor? And be like, oh yeah, because I need to repot you, that's why. And then this bulb that fell off of the Fred Clark After Dark is, I haven't watered it, I'm just leaving it sitting here. So hopefully it will decide to go ahead and kick into a bloom. But look at Macrobay Pops. His little spark, he needs water. Let me show you. He needs water. So he is almost dry. Like he is right at the edge of dry. Do you see how some of the moss is dry? And then if you look in other areas, it still looks damp. That's when I will water my girls that are in a moss and bark mixture. Well, like the Pathiopedilums, Oncidiums, that kind of thing. That's usually when I will water. And then we have some bad news, or sad news, depending on how you look at it. So this used to sit on a mount, and this is what we have left. There's a little cakey there, a little cakey there, and a little cakey there. I have no idea what happened. I did put it in a bag, kind of, you know, creating humidity, hoping that it would recover. And as you can see, it did not like that. So it's just laying on top of this moss, and the moss is barely damp. Like it's damp underneath, so there's humidity coming up, but there's hardly any moisture at the top. So I'm hoping that that recovers. If it doesn't, I won't replace it. It's just too finicky. I can't get the care right. It's not something I want to invest in at the moment. In the future, will I purchase it again and try it again? Maybe. Right now, where I am in 2024, I won't replace that plant. Holy bagoli. Guys, look at, oh my goodness. I literally was like, what is that? Look at that. We have that spike, and then I see another spike right here. Oh my, well, let's just take it out and see what else we find. So that's 1, 2. Do we see any more? I don't see any more. It literally was in my face. I literally did not see that. And I just looked at this plant last night, but of course I just did a quick pick it up for mealybugs is what I did. I didn't really look for spikes. Well, we have 2 spikes coming up on that one too. That's another white one. Now, do you remember last Saturday stroll I said that poor scary baby here, my princess, if nothing happens, we'll have to let her go and replace her. Well, those roots are growing right on down into the media. And we have another new growth coming up after someone accidentally busted the other one. We're not messing with that growth. I don't care which way it goes. I don't care how it grows. It's going to grow. We're going to leave it alone. And that is what we're going to do with that one. See. I don't think there's much of anything. Oh, you know what? Remember this one? Yeah, that's the Spring Pleasure. I said I wasn't going to mess with it this year. I was going to wait till next year. But I have lots of new growth. But that new growth, the old growth is just, I don't know. I need to get in here, see what's going on. Need to get in there and chop it and prop it, as they say in the regular house plant community. I just need to get in here and see what's going on. Possibly try to save the cakeys, because this is now, I cannot speak. This is now not appropriate for what's going on, or not going on rather, with this plant. These ladies need a little more hydration closer to them. And like it's rooted in, like oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. Look at that. Okay. I just didn't pull in the right spot. Well, I know what I'll be doing later on today. And then this one, I believe, will need some more calcium, because look what the new growth did. The new growth did what the Maxillera did before. So I will be soaking her in some CalMag. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that this new growth and that new growth, if I can focus it, that new growth back there, those 2 new growths, this one in the foreground and that one in the background, you know, kick into gear. If not, we may have to wait another bit before this one actually gets a going. Oh, and then Inscriptiosis, let me move this chair over just a little bit. Scriptiosis has a lovely new leaf, and then look at the roots, and they are starting to go down into a media. And then over here, if I can get it over here. So we have our, which one is this? Is this the Equestris? Yes, the Equestris over here growing lovely leaves. Look how much brighter that is. Like, it's not so dull over here anymore. I love that. And so I have my second love dendrobium here. We've got the Hookeriana, and then we've got little leaves, and then a no ID over here. Or maybe that's little leaves and that's the no ID. One way or the other, but those are over there. Yes, Melstar is still in her black nursery pot with the same media she's had since 22. Is it 22? Yep, since August of 22. I will get to her at some point. And the king, well, the king is mad. Look at the leaf. I don't have any idea what happened. I did get a couple of mealybugs off of this particular leaf, so I'm not sure. I'll have to, again, let me take it and put it right here, so I'll have to look at it and say what's going on with that plant. And then my daughter also got me one of these. It is a Sansevieria. I just don't know the actual name. It's the one that kind of grows like a starfish coming out of the dirt. She has a nice one in her room, and I'm always wanting to take one of the babies. So she ended up getting me this one. This was not for Mother's Day. This was just to leave my plant alone kind of a thing. So that sits right there for now because I did put it in better soil. It was in, I don't know what it was in actually, but as you can see, it is nicely rooted in. So, and then I also put one of our March ICPUs down here with some brighter light. I'm hoping that that will encourage some growth into it. And this one, since the last time, I have not seen any more mealies on that one. I do check the Jewel Orchid. I kind of check all of these since this is the one that had it, just to make sure that nobody jumped into somebody else's neighbors there. And the two ICPUs in the back are doing fine. But rubber tree plant, I think it's just going to love it over here. I think it's really going to love it over here. Guys, have a beautiful day. I hope you enjoy your week, and we'll see you next time.